Hello, I was asked today a very direct question. Did I think that Mr. Putin might invade the Ukraine? And I said I thought it was highly unlikely. I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong, and I'd like to explain why I think I'm wrong and why I think we need to be significantly more prepared for an invasion than perhaps we are. Today, we've learnt NATO has sent ships to Eastern Europe. We also learnt the Prime Minister has been warning the Kremlin about a disastrous step should it invade the Ukraine. Can we take Boris seriously? Actually, Boris looked very good in that speech. He then went on and talked about a painful, violent and bloody business. Yes, and that's really the issue. The UK and the US embassies have been pulling out staff and families from the Ukraine, and the Ukraine is concerned about that and worried that this sends again a signal that the West thinks that conflict is inevitable. And I think, unfortunately, this may well be the case, but not for the reasons which are being touted in the newspapers. If we look at the language that Mr. Putin is using, it really is the language that sets up an excuse for an invasion. We know that there are 60 Russian battle groups surrounding the Ukraine at the moment that could invade at any moment. They could even launch an attack on Kiev. Putin says that the Ukraine and the Russian and Russia itself are one people. And indeed, if you look back at the Russian Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church sees its center in Kiev. And we know that Putin is extremely religious. This could well be his excuse. The Ukraine is clearly different to Russia, but during the Soviet Union, they were part of one country. Now, the West has made some ominous comparisons for Mr. Putin with the conflict in Chechnya, which began in the 1990s and has continued with sort of unending guerrilla warfare and terrorism ever since. Invading Chechnya was not a wise thing to do. And it's caused endless problems for Russia, and it's consumed so much money. But in Moscow, that's not really the story that's told. The story that's told is about Chechen terrorism. And I think this might be the way that Mr. Putin is judging the Ukrainian crisis. He's talking about Western hysteria. He's talking about the Ukraine, bizarrely and ironically, massing forces against Russia on its border. He's ignoring the fact that the Russian stock market has been very volatile, as has the currency. But do I think he will invade? I think there's every possibility because although Mr. Putin may be afraid of a Western response to any invasion, although Mr. Putin may be afraid that this is a war that cannot be won, Mr. Putin is also aware that a country at war, a country in conflict, is generally supportive of its leader. And a lack of support for him at home is what Putin most fears at the moment. So because Putin is becoming weaker and weaker, I think there is every possibility that we may see an invasion, at least in some form, of the Ukraine. It may be a small incursion, it may not be a big invasion, but I think we should steel ourselves for some form of military activity in the next few days. That, I'm afraid, is my opinion, having considered it.